Hello everyone, it's me again. Today, I'm back to continue telling you the story of the single mother, Diệu Hân. I hope you'll enjoy watching this video. As the afternoon settled in, the last golden rays of sunlight gently spread across the small yard, covering everything in a warm yellow hue. Thành had just finished the final steps of building the new bathroom. His face was dripping with sweat, but a bright smile spread across it. His work was finally done. Just then Long arrived, carrying a small bag of nails and repair tools he had promised to bring earlier that morning. At first, the atmosphere between Thành and Long was a little awkward. Though they had been childhood friends, a few misunderstandings in the past had created distance between them. They even avoided each other for a while. Thành had noticed this for some time and quietly hoped that today, they might reconcile. Long set the bag down, scratching his head with a small smile. "I'm a bit late. Thought you hadn't finished yet. Didn't expect you to be so handy." Thành wiped his sweat and replied with an easy grin. "Well, thanks to the tools you brought this morning. Without them, I'd still be wrestling with that rotten roof." The light-hearted tone, free of the sharpness from before, made the air between them less tense. A moment later, the two sat on the front steps, drinking cold water that Thành had brought out. What began as a few casual jokes slowly turned into nostalgic memories of their childhood. Days when they played together and helped each other through hardships. "Honestly, things back then weren't serious enough for us to drift apart like that," Long said slowly, his gaze softening. "Yeah, I think so too," Thành nodded sincerely. "We were both hot-headed and stubborn. Looking back now, it's kind of funny more than anything." They both burst into laughter, their voices echoing through the yard, dissolving the distance that had existed for so long. Thành patted Long on the shoulder, and Long squinted playfully. "All right, let's just forget the past. From now on, if anything happens, we talk it out. No more silent treatment like before. Yeah, we're friends." Luckily, we still have moments like this to sit down and talk. Standing at the kitchen doorway, Thành watched them and smiled softly. Seeing the two men laugh together as if there had never been a misunderstanding filled her heart with relief. She knew that not every friendship could be mended after hurt, but this moment was truly precious. Later, the three of them sat down together for the dinner Thành had prepared earlier. Laughter and cheerful chatter filled the air around the meal. There was no more distance, no more awkwardness, only the warmth of friendship and sincere gratitude. Thành felt a strange joy as she watched the two friends reconcile. She thought to herself that maybe from now on, life for her and her child wouldn't be so lonely anymore. Not long ago, after escaping from Thai, Han's heart was still pounding with fear. Everything had happened so fast. If Thành and Long, his loyal friend, hadn't appeared just in time, she might have faced real danger. Thành was the first to rush in, shouting to distract the thugs, while Long quickly called the local police. Their teamwork gave Han the chance to run and return home safely. When everything finally calmed down, she sat silently for a long while, overwhelmed by a deep sense of gratitude. The next morning, as soft sunlight slipped through the newly cleaned windows, Thành woke up after a long night's rest. Stepping into the yard, he saw Han busily sweeping, gathering dry leaves and tidying up the surroundings. Her face still showed traces of tiredness from the night before, yet she continued working diligently. Her hair was neatly tied back, her worn dark shirt damp with sweat. She looked both strong and gentle in such a natural way. Thành stood quietly for a moment, feeling a strange mix of admiration and affection for this woman. Without saying much, he rolled up his sleeves, walked over and said, "Let me help. Doing all this alone must be exhausting." Han was slightly surprised but then smiled and nodded. The two worked together, clearing out old boxes and cleaning anything that could still be used. The morning air became lively and warm, almost as if they were a real family. While helping her, Thành noticed that the old water tank behind the house had a large hole, leaking water everywhere. Han sighed softly and explained that it had rusted over the years and could no longer hold water, but she hadn't been able to replace it yet. Without another word, once they finished cleaning, Thành hopped on his motorbike and left. About half an hour later, he returned with a brand new plastic water tank tied to the back of his bike. Han's eyes widened in surprise. "Oh my, when did you buy this?" Thành smiled warmly. "I stopped by the hardware store on my way. The old tank was broken, and living without water is so inconvenient. Consider this a little gift." to help make your home a bit more complete. Han was moved and flustered, unsure what to say. She bit her lip, her eyes glistening with genuine emotion. The water tank might seem simple, but for her at that moment, it was a meaningful gift. Not just easing daily life, but also carrying rare warmth and care amidst all her struggles. Together, they carried the new tank to the back and set it up properly. Under the gentle morning sun, their smiles lit up the little corner of the world, signaling a new beginning, simple but full of hope. Sun with face. As soon as Tan finished installing the new water tank, his eyes unintentionally wandered toward the back of the house. The bathroom area was covered with a few rusty metal sheets and rotting wooden boards that had decayed over the years. Rain leaked through, sunlight shone in, and the walls were peeling and stained. The flimsy wooden door wobbled with just a gentle push, and the cracked tile floor was slippery with moss. Just one careless step could easily lead to a fall. Tan frowned slightly, a wave of concern rising inside him. Living here alone with a small child and bathing in a place like this. It's really dangerous. Without hesitation, he turned to Han and said, "Your bathroom is in terrible shape. Let me fix it for you. If you keep using it like this, accidents could happen." Han was startled and quickly waved her hands. "No, you've already helped me so much I'd feel bad. I'll deal with it later bit by bit." But Tan shook his head firmly, his eyes determined. "It's fine. I'm good at this kind of work. A little fixing and it'll be done. I can't rest easy knowing you're using a bathroom like that." With that, he took off his jacket, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work as if this were his own house. He measured the wall frames, dismantled the rusty metal sheets and rotted wood, then replaced them with new wooden panels and sturdy metal roofing. He reinforced the door frame and retiled the floor with anti-slip tiles he had just picked up from the nearby hardware store. Standing nearby, Han watched in astonishment and slight embarrassment. She hadn't expected Tan to be this dedicated. He had already helped with countless things since morning, yet here he was, continuing without a single complaint. Her voice trembled as she said softly, I really don't know how to thank you enough. I feel so bad." Tan smiled as he hammered in a nail, his tone gentle. "Why feel bad? Helping good people isn't a burden. Besides, seeing you and your little one live more comfortably makes me happy too." Hearing that, Han's heart skipped a strange beat. It had been a long time since anyone had shown her this kind of care and genuine concern. The late afternoon sun slanted through the roof, illuminating Tana's focused figure. Sweat beading on his forehead, yet his smile remained kind and warm. In that moment, an indescribable warmth welled up inside her, part gratitude, part a gentle, unexpected flutter. By late afternoon, the new bathroom was complete, neat, sturdy, and so much cleaner. When Han opened the door and stepped inside, she couldn't help but smile happily. She knew that thanks to Tan, her and her child's life was slowly changing for the better. Starting from the simplest things, filled with kindness. While Tan was carefully removing the last of the old boards inside the bathroom, Han stood outside keeping watch, picking up scattered nails and broken wood to help. Tan crouched down, prying off the rotting panels one by one with a small hammer. He worked cautiously, fully aware of how weak the structure was. One careless move and the whole thing could collapse. And then the unexpected happened. Just as he pulled out a support beam in the far corner, a sharp cracking sound echoed. The bamboo roof supports, already brittle from years of decay, suddenly gave way. "Tan! Watch out!" Han screamed in panic. Before he could react, a large section of the old roof and bamboo beams came crashing down. Tan managed to twist his body aside, but one thick bamboo pole struck his shoulder, and the whole panel collapsed onto him, knocking him to the ground amid a cloud of dust. Collision! The crash echoed through the yard, dust swirling everywhere. Han rushed over, heart pounding wildly. "Tan! Are you okay? Tan!" She dropped to her knees beside him, hands trembling as she pulled the bamboo poles off his body. Tan groaned softly, struggling to sit up. A large bruise had already formed on his left shoulder, and blood was seeping lightly from a cut on his elbow where the bamboo had scraped him. He forced a reassuring smile through the pain. "I'm fine, just a bit of a hit." Seeing him like that, Han's eyes turned red with tears. She blamed herself anxiously. "It's my fault. I should have stopped you from fixing it. If something happened to you, I wouldn't know what to do." Tan placed his uninjured hand gently on her shoulder, speaking softly despite his heavy breathing. "Don't cry, it's not your fault. I was careless." Han couldn't hold back anymore. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She hurried to fetch a clean towel, warm water, and an old first aid kit to tend to his wounds. As she gently cleaned the cut, her voice trembled. "You're always caring for others, but never for yourself. If anything happened to you, I wouldn't know whether to thank you or regret it for the rest of my life." Tan looked at her, his eyes carrying a deeper emotion than usual. In that brief, quiet moment, both of them fell silent. There was no more formality, no awkwardness, only sincere worry and a silent, powerful bond that neither had expected. Leaf fluttering in wind, the collapsing bamboo beam may have been an accident, but that moment made Han realize something important. Tan was no longer just someone helping by chance. He had truly stepped into the lives of her and her child, naturally and deeply. Fortunately, after the unexpected collapse, Tan wasn't seriously injured. Once Han helped him sit up, brushing off the dust covering his clothes and hair, he rotated his shoulder to test it. He winced slightly from the pain but then suddenly burst into hearty laughter, leaving Han both shocked and frustrated, at a loss for words. "Goodness, you can still laugh? I thought you'd broken a bone." Han scolded, her eyes still red from the fright. Tan kept brushing off bits of rotten wood clinging to him, then squinted teasingly. "And whose fault is it that I had to crawl into this prehistoric bathroom? You've been clinging to this wreck like it's some family heirloom. See, I almost became the victim of a historical relic." Han's jaw dropped. She didn't even know how to respond. He kept joking, his voice playful but warm. "Luckily, it wasn't you under there. If you had gotten hurt, who would clean the house, cook the meals, and nag me all the time?" The unexpected line made Han freeze for a second, then burst out laughing. All the heavy worry in her chest melted away in an instant, replaced by a light, warm feeling. Tan stood up, stretched his arms a few times, and looked at Han mischievously. "All right then, let's take this as a warning from above. If we don't fix this bathroom soon, today it's me, but tomorrow it might really be your turn. No more arguing. I'm redoing everything from scratch, and you're not allowed to stop me." Han crossed her arms, pretending to be serious. "Who asked you to anyway? But still, thank you. Really." Their eyes met for a brief moment. No words were needed, but both could feel something quietly growing between them. Leaf fluttering in wind, what seemed like a dangerous accident turned into a memorable moment, bringing them closer together in a natural, unspoken way. Amid the teasing and the lingering concern, the invisible distance between Han and Tan slowly began to fade. After making Han laugh with his jokes, Tan sat down on the back steps to rest. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and his clothes were covered in bamboo dust and dirt from the collapse, yet his eyes still shone with strength and determination. He tilted his head back toward the sky, taking a deep breath. The peaceful morning breeze rustled through the leaves, sweeping away the tension that had just filled the air. A short distance away, Han quietly watched him. A strange feeling welled up in her chest, part admiration, part affection. She saw how he had worked tirelessly since early morning, cleaning the yard, bringing a new water tank, repairing the bathroom, and never once complaining. After just 10 minutes of rest, Tan stood up, dusted off his hands, and went straight back to the bathroom area. He inspected the framework carefully, measured everything precisely, and began installing new wooden beams to replace the damaged ones. The steady sound of hammering thud, thud, echoed rhythmically, as if bringing new life to this long-neglected corner of the house. Meanwhile, once she was sure Tan was fine, Han returned to the kitchen. She lit the wood stove. The crackling of the fire mixed with the bubbling sound of boiling water, creating a strangely cozy atmosphere. On the old wooden table, she had laid out simple but familiar ingredients. Yesterday's hen, fresh green vegetables from the garden, fragrant fried shallots, and ginger. "If you're the carpenter today, then I'll be the chef," Han whispered to herself with a smile. She quickly washed the meat, chopped the vegetables, and marinated the chicken with ginger and fish sauce. The delicious aroma began to fill the small kitchen, brightening up the space. The pot of chicken broth boiled vigorously, white steam escaping through the kitchen doorway, forming a thin mist that floated across the yard. It blended with the sound of Tan hammering outside, together creating a warm, homely symphony. Outside, Tan worked diligently, occasionally whistling or shouting playful remarks toward the kitchen. Don't burn the pot. If I smell anything burnt, I'll know right away. You just focus on finishing the bathroom. Even if the rice burns, there's still soup. Han called back, joking in a familiar, light-hearted way. Amid their playful back and forth, the little yard was filled with laughter. There was no more awkwardness, no sense of distance, only a natural harmony, as if they had been living side by side for years. Leaf fluttering in wind by this evening, when the newly rebuilt bathroom stood firm and the hot meal was ready, it would be more than just dinner. It would be a small gift of gratitude from Han to the man who had quietly, selflessly stepped into her and her child's life. The dinner that was supposed to be warm and joyful took an unexpected turn. Just as Han finished setting the table, she suddenly realized something was off. Her close neighbor and friend, whom she had invited earlier, still hadn't shown up. Normally, just the smell of food was enough for On to come running in a flash. Yet tonight everything was strangely quiet. A flicker of worry crossed Han's face. She remembered hearing someone mention that morning that On wasn't feeling well, possibly catching a cold from getting drenched in the rain the night before. She glanced at Long and noticed a hint of unease on his face. Clearly, there was still something unresolved between him and On. Not long ago, the two had a serious argument over a misunderstanding, and since then On had grown noticeably cold toward him. The cheerful chatter at the dinner table slowed. Sensing Han's change in demeanor, Tan asked, "What's wrong, Han? Something happened." Han shook her head slightly, though her heart was uneasy. "It's strange that On hasn't come over yet. She's usually so quick. Maybe I should go check on her. I heard she wasn't feeling well this morning." Long froze for a brief moment, his eyes a mix of embarrassment and concern. He clearly wanted to go too but was hesitant, perhaps afraid that On wouldn't want to see him. Without further hesitation, Han stood up, wiping her hands on her apron. "You two go ahead and eat first. I'll go see how On is doing. If she's sick, I might need to get her some medicine or make porridge for her." Tan nodded. "Yeah, go. We'll finish setting up here." Long remained silent, watching Han leave, his eyes dimming slightly. Guilt lingered in his heart. The conflict with On still weighed heavily on him, but he didn't yet have the courage to make amends. Han walked quickly toward Anna's house, her heart heavy with worry. On was like family. She couldn't enjoy dinner knowing her friend might be sick and alone next door. Back in the small yard, the dinner table remained set, now occupied by just two men, Tan and Long. One quietly picked at the food, the other stared silently into the dark beyond the fence. The air grew unusually still, as if each was lost in his own thoughts. With Han gone, the space around the dinner table felt quieter, almost solemn. The late afternoon light stretched across the yard as a gentle breeze carried the faint aroma of food. Steam still rose from the dishes, but neither of the men hurried to eat. Tan poured 2 glasses of water, then sat down across from Long. He studied his old friend's face for a moment. Long appeared calm on the surface, but his eyes were heavy with unspoken emotions. "Hey," Tan said gently, breaking the silence. "Things between you and On still not resolved, huh?" Long looked up, caught off guard, then sighed deeply. "Yeah, nothing's changed. She keeps avoiding me, treating me like a stranger. I don't even know where to start anymore." Leaning forward, Tan rested his elbows on his knees. "I can tell. She still has feelings for you, but the wound hasn't healed. Be honest, do you still love her?" The question hit straight at the heart of what Long had been trying to hide. He stayed quiet for a few seconds before slowly nodding, eyes gazing off into the distance. "I've never stopped loving On, Tan, but I hurt her too deeply. The things I said back then, the stupid things I did, they were like knives I plunged into the person I cared about most. Fixing that isn't easy." His voice trembled slightly as he pressed a hand to his forehead, trying to suppress painful memories. "Back then, I was hot-headed and others egged me on. I misunderstood her, said cruel things, and coldly turned away when she needed me most. By the time I realized the truth, it was too late. She didn't trust me anymore." Tan listened quietly. He knew their history ran deeper than most people realized. They had once been inseparable, a couple admired by everyone. But a few mistakes, a few deep wounds, had created a gap that seemed impossible to bridge. "I think she still has feelings for you," Tan said slowly. She's just built a wall to protect herself from getting hurt again. If you're serious about her, only time and patience will rebuild that trust. Long gave a wry smile, but in his eyes flickered a fragile glimmer of hope. I know, and I'm willing to wait. But sometimes seeing her avoid me like that, it stings. It's a helpless kind of pain. Tan patted his friend's shoulder, like a brother sharing his burden. Everyone makes mistakes. The key is not giving up. If your love is real, one day she'll feel it again. But first you need to forgive yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Long looked up, gratitude shining faintly in his eyes. Their conversation wasn't loud or dramatic but honest and deep, as if their friendship, long tested by time, had quietly found its way back. Leaf fluttering in wind outside, the night breeze began to stir gently. Inside the small house by the unfinished dinner table, two men sat across from each other, one listening, the other unburdening his heart, opening a new chapter not just for their friendship, but for broken relationships that might still be mended. After Long poured his heart out, the little yard fell into a warm, contemplative silence. The food on the table had grown cold, and the golden light from the porch lamp cast long shadows on the ground. The night wind carried a faint earthy scent after the long day. Tan sat silently for a moment, staring into the distance. Then he gave a soft, bittersweet smile. Listening to you talk about on just now, I realized I'm the same. Long turned to him, surprised. The same? What do you mean? Tan took a deep breath and spoke slowly. I mean with Han. I've had feelings for her for a long time. I just never said it. His voice grew quieter, honest in a way that sounded like he was admitting it to himself for the first time. I met Han during her toughest time. Seeing her so strong yet so hurt, my heart just naturally gravitated toward her. She's not perfect, but when I'm around her I feel like I'm doing something right. Like I can actually be someone's support. Long nodded knowingly. I can tell. I've seen the way you look at her. Every time you mention her, your eyes light up differently. Tan laughed awkwardly, scratching his head, then sighed. But I've always thought she liked Dan. That guy always shows up at the right time, says all the smooth things. Me? I just quietly help out. I'm not good with fancy words. Honestly, I sometimes think I don't stand a chance. Long frowned. Are you sure she actually likes Dan? From what I've seen, she treats him politely, nothing more. But the way she looks at you sometimes, it's different. If you keep assuming things because of your insecurities, you'll never know the truth. Tan was taken aback by Long's directness. A tiny spark of hope flickered in his chest, but he quickly shook his head. I don't know. I'm scared. Scared that if I confess, it'll ruin what we have. Right now we trust each other, we rely on each other. If she doesn't feel the same, everything might get awkward, distant. Long chuckled softly and clapped Tan on the shoulder like a true brother. You? Scared? Who'd have thought the tough carpenter would be shy about love? But seriously, if you never say anything, she might never know. Real feelings locked away are just like keeping yourself in the dark. Tan laughed, nodding. You're probably right. You and I were both stuck in our own messes, letting time slip by without acting. Long lifted his glass, clinking it lightly against Tana's, his voice firm. All right then. Let's make a pact. Tonight is the night we stop running. If we still love, we fight for it. If there's a chance, we face it head on. Deal. Tan looked at Long, then burst into hearty laughter. A genuine, liberating sound. Deal. The two men clinked glasses, sealing a quiet promise, not just about love but about themselves. Tonight, they weren't just two old friends with personal burdens anymore, but two men encouraging each other to stop hiding and start living. Outside, the night breeze blew softly, crickets chirped in the distance. Inside the humble home, beside a simple dinner table, two friends opened their hearts. A quiet, meaningful moment. Herb sparkles.
Xin chào mọi người. Rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Mình rất vui vì mọi người đã ủng hộ và xem hết video hôm nay của mình. Hiện tại thì những video của mình đang kể về những câu chuyện của những người mẹ đơn thân có cuộc sống khó khăn, vất vả và họ đã phải cố gắng bươn chải chăm chỉ hơn để có một cuộc sống tốt. Mình hy vọng rằng những câu chuyện này có thể mang thêm động lực cho mọi người trong cuộc sống và góp phần làm cuộc sống mọi người tốt hơn. Mình rất mong được sự ủng hộ của mọi người trong những video sau. Nếu mà mọi người cảm thấy yêu thích video của mình thì nhớ cho mình một like, share và nhớ bật chuông thông báo để nhận thông báo khi mình đăng video mới nhất nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã ủng hộ video của mình. Rất mong được gặp lại mọi người ở video lần sau. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người.